Hello, this is the Watchdog, and welcome back to Fun with Watches. If watches weren't fun, you'd only need one. Today we're going to review the Duxot DX2026 Tortuga. Let's start out with the wrist check. I'm wearing the Seastern S382 that says automatic and not original. And Grego is wearing my Rolls Teamy 128. Grego asked Wampy if he still wanted to kill Master Skywalker for killing his father. Wampy said no. Although he found the killing very offensive, he watched episode 5 and it was clear that Luke was defending himself. Sometimes the best defense is a good offense. Let's take a look at the watch. This is the same type of box the last Duxot I had came in. So this is probably fairly consistent. And here is the watch. That's a nice looking watch. I've been very pleased with it. So kind of really happy with this watch. I've been fairly disappointed with my watch gang selections, but this one I really like. This is the second Duxot on my channel. This was my monthly watch gang black tier selection. Fortunately, it seems to be a lot better than the last Duxot on my channel, but unfortunately, this is yet another watch from Watch Gang that is no longer available to purchase from the Duxot website. You can find it on eBay, and at the time of this review, the Watch Gang is selling this particular colorway for $512, which is less than the $640 MSRP. I am not sure if I would have paid $512 for an NH35 power dive watch, but it is most definitely worth what I paid for my Watch Gang Black Tier subscription, and it's clearly the nicest watch I've received since I started Watch Gang. This is a very sturdy, solidly built dive style watch. It is not ISO 6425 certified, and I doubt it could pass certification due to the rather weak loom pip. This watch, when it was available, also came in basic black, Pepsi bezel with blue dial, green Hulk style, and a blue two-tone with yellow gold instead of the rose gold or the chocolate dial two-tone they sent me. The J-style bracelet is the only option. The watch is 44.2 millimeters at the bezel, but the bezel is a little bit smaller than the case, so it's 45 millimeters at the case. 51.6 millimeters lug to lug with inverted end links. It's 14 millimeters thick, so it's thick, but it doesn't look as thick because it's a big watch anyway. Has a 22 millimeter lug width, which tapers down to 18 at the clasp. It weighs 180 grams on the supplied J-style bracelet with 4 links removed. So yes, this is a fairly heavy watch. The bezel's 120 click, unidirectional with an aluminum insert, and the action's excellent. Really good action, no back play at all. Nice solid clicks. And there's enough resistance where you're not going to knock it out of place, but not so much resistance that it's hard to turn. So it's about the perfect resistance. So really like the bezel. And then we have a rehot with the minute markers and minute counters. And then we have the dial. The dial has a nice sunburst effect, and the dial has a outer and an inner. And so it looks really nice. Says Duxot up top, and that says automatic 200 meters, 600 feet on the bottom. And then we have the indices. We got a double baton at the 12, a single at the 6 and the 9, and a little half baton at the 3 because of the date. And then we have dots everywhere else. And then we have the hands. We have sectored hands, and they're fence post, and I really like them. I think they do a good job, and they're loomed, and they have pretty good loom. And then we do have a lollipop second hand, and the lollipop has a red border. Then we have a date at the 3, and the date wheel is black. And normally, if it was a dark watch, I would have liked the black, but I don't know. I think on this watch, a white one would have worked just as well, but no big deal. Then we have the crown. The crown is signed and it's screw down, and the thread action is great. No resistance when you unthread it. Then when you go to thread it back in, it catches right away, and you don't feel like you're going to strip it or anything. So I like that. Then we have the Chrystal Sapphire, and it's domed, and it's single dome because you can see that distortion there. And there is AR coating, so it does a good job of not reflecting, and you do see a slight blue tint on occasion because of it. So I really like the Chrystal. Then we have the case. The case is wonderful. It's a cushion case, and it's fully brushed, and it has really nice brush work. So really like the case. The case feels really solid, and sometimes stuff just seems bulky, but this one just seems solid and sturdy. So I really like the case. I would say the case is a highlight of this watch. Then we have the case back. The case back says Duxot in the middle. That says all stainless steel. Sapphire. Then it says automatic movement. Gives the model number. Then it says water resistant 200 meters. And look how thin the case back is. So it doesn't add any thickness to the case. So that's really good. And so this big old case is going to wear nice and flat on the wrist because of that. Underneath the case back is the NH35 movement. This is a 24 joule 3 hertz movement that hand winds hacks, has a bidirectional rotor and about a 40-hour power reserve. And they're usually fairly accurate right off the shelf. And I have no clue if Duxot actually regulates them, but we'll put it on the time grapher and see how it's doing. Here it is on the time grapher, and I guess the answer would be no. This was not regulated at the factory. So it's running fairly fast, 21 seconds fast for that matter. So that's still within specs, but kind of a disappointment there. A little bit of beat error, 0.1 milliseconds, amplitude's 247. I have the lift angle set at 53, which is the proper lift angle for an NH35. But at least it's fast and not slow, because when you go to set it, all you have to do is hack the movement and wait for time to catch up, where a slow movement, you have to move the hands. Then we have a J-style bracelet, and it's a two-tone. And this bracelet is wonderful compared to the last Duxot I had. The other Duxot had a J-style bracelet, but it was a really disappointment. It was a really rattly. This one, however, is great. It has solid inverted end links, and the bracelet's fully articulating, so it contours to the wrist just perfectly. And the links are solid, where the other one had hollow center links, and that's why it was so rattly. This one does have push pins, not screw pins, but I'm perfectly happy with push pins. I just think they're easier, especially on a J-style. Screw pins are on a J-style are usually so small that they're a pain to use. And then we have the clasp. The clasp has a milled lower, pressed upper, and it's signed. There's nothing wrong with the clasp. It does the job. It's pretty good. It doesn't feel premium though, and there's no on-the-fly adjustment. We do have 3 holes of micro adjust, which is fine for a J-style because the links are so small, you can get the perfect fit. It would have been nice though to have 4 holes. Here's the watch on my 7.5-inch wrist. That looks nice, that wears nice. It's a big watch, but look how flat it wears. And it has the inverted end links. And since the links are so small, it contours to the wrist just about perfect. I removed 4 links to fit on my 7.5-inch wrist. So you should be able to wear this 8.5, because I also moved it in 1 hole of micro adjust. So 8.5 is probably the best you can do without getting more links. Here we are in the loom room. The last Duxot I tested had pretty good loom, but a bad pip. So let's see how this one does. As we speed up the time, we see a pretty good glow in the major hands, but everything else, including the loom pip, is very poor and fading fast. Yet it is the major hands that matter, and it is nice you can still see them, but everything else is about gone. A dive watch should have a loom pip that keeps up with the minute hand. What I like about this watch, I really like this nicely brushed cushion case. Has great bezel action and no back play. And I like this AR coated sapphire crystal. What are my gripes and groans? The loom pip doesn't keep up with the hands. And this watch is no longer available on the Duxot website. So if you want to buy it, you have to go find it on eBay or somewhere. Other than that, there's really nothing to complain about. Do I recommend this watch? Yes. If you see this watch on eBay or gray market dealers or even used on Facebook Marketplace, and this is a nice wearing solid steel dive watch, just keep in mind it's fairly big. So if you don't like them big, then you might want to give this one a pass. Well, thank you for watching my review of the Duxot 2026, and I'll be back with an unboxing. I have 3 watches coming from AliExpress today, if I believe they're tracking information. So that's going to be a pretty good unboxing there. Be sure to like and subscribe to my channel. And once again, I don't have any links for this watch because you can't buy it anymore. Bye.